Hello again, my name's Jonathan. I'm running Mental Help and hoping to help people like myself who've got mental health issues and problems, twitches and all the rest of it, OCD, to anything you've got. I think we all have issues and struggles. Thank you so much for the support. Please do click subscribe. I want to help other people like myself by doing some good work and honest and transparent effort. I just really want to see if I can overcome some of my fears and some of my struggles and some of the issues that have basically in some respects held me back most of my life. And in doing that, I want to help you. So I'm following on from my last talk where we were discussing anxiety, and OCD is termed as an anxiety disorder. So we wanted to look a little bit more into what anxiety really is. The next anxiety we're going to look at, because previously we'd just gone through the GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder. The next one up is social anxiety. I am taking my information from a credible website, which is the government's website, the nationalhealthservice.com, nhs.com. So social anxiety, social phobia, social anxiety disorder, also called social phobia, is a long-term and overwhelming fear of social situations. If you're on the autistic spectrum, or Asperger's as I say, you'll really relate to struggling with social situations. And if you struggle with mental health, social situations are especially hard because you already feel a little bit different to everybody else, and you feel that you're going to be bullied, taken the mick out, seen as not normal, not accepted. All of these terrible thoughts compound in your mind and make the stress and anxiety levels shoot through the roof. So let's get back on course. It's a common problem that usually starts during the teenage years. It can be very distressing and have big impact on your life. For some people it gets better as they get older, but for many people it does not go away on its own without treatment. It's important to get help if you're having symptoms. There are treatments that can help you manage it. Well, that already is encouraging. So let's look at some of the symptoms of social anxiety. Social anxiety is more than shyness. Okay, so let's just get that out in the open. This isn't someone who's just shy. If you've got a child and they're displaying some of these symptoms, there may be more than just is shyness going on. It's a fear that does not go away and affects everyday activities, self-confidence, relationships, and work or school life. Many people occasionally worry about social situations. We all do. But with social anxiety, I'm getting a twitch there. That's put me off reading. But sometimes I'll start again. Many people occasionally worry about social situations. But someone with social anxiety feels overly worried before, during and after them. And that's interesting. So while they're actually in the situation, they're also consumed with some form of anxiety. You may have social anxiety if you worry about everyday activities such as meeting strangers, starting conversations, speaking on the phone, working or shopping. Always worry about doing something you think is embarrassing, such as blushing, sweating or appearing incompetent. I used to be paranoid my eyes were going to water, and of course they did. And then it looked like I was crying or there was something wrong with me. So this is an awful thing to be gripping you when it's kind of like triggers. It triggers it off. Find it difficult to do things when others are watching. You may feel like you're being watched or judged all the time. We all can feel like that, but we're talking probably a little bit like it's more severe. Fear being criticised, avoid eye contact, or have low self-esteem. Self-esteem is an interesting thing because self-esteem isn't necessarily confidence. Self-esteem is something we'll talk about in one of my other videos. I really want to talk about self-esteem because low self-esteem is a very, very nasty, unpleasant thing to experience, and I've really struggled with self-esteem. And people always say, well, you're really confident. But self-esteem isn't confidence. It's totally different. It's what you actually really feel and think about yourself. Moving on, often have symptoms like feeling sick, sweating, trembling, have panic attacks, where you have an overwhelming sense of fear and anxiety, usually only for a few minutes. That's not pleasant. Many people with social anxiety also have other medical issues such as depression, generalized anxiety disorder, which is the previous video, or panic disorder, which will be the next video. It's good to see a GP if you think you have this social anxiety, especially if it's having a big impact on your life. It's affecting what you're doing, what you're thinking, if you're not enjoying yourself, you're constantly in this state of feeling anxious, you need to probably go and get some help and talk to somebody. It's a common problem and there are treatments that can help. Asking for help can be difficult. It's always hard to talk to somebody and ask for help because we all want to feel that there's nothing wrong with us. But this actually isn't anything wrong with you. This is just, there's something a little bit different about the way that your mind is functioning. And you'll probably find that even though you are having these anxious thoughts and these other things are coming into your mind, you probably have some skills and some gifts, and you probably have some other advantages that you're not fully aware of. And I found this to be true. I found that I was very good at thinking solutions to problems. I was very good at many different things. Many people struggle with social anxiety. Nowadays it's more common than ever because people have become open, because it's more acceptable and there's more help, there's more love, there's more kind-hearted people out there who are willing to encourage you and to take you under their wing and to push you out into the right direction with some help. GPs will ask you about your feelings, behaviours and symptoms. If they think you could have social anxiety, you'll be referred to a mental health specialist to have a full assessment and talk about treatments. You can also refer yourself directly to the NHS Psychological Therapy Services without a referral from a GP. So you don't have to necessarily go and see a GP. It's very hard to get appointments with GPs during the pandemic we're going through, and sometimes it's very easy to put yourself off if you leave yourself too much time before taking action to resolve a problem. So get on the internet, go to the NHS website, there's a thing you can click here, you fill out a form, you can get yourself on one of these courses, and I have done them and they are good. Even if it's only because you meet other people who are like-minded and they encourage you, but they are more than that, they will help you. So things you can do to overcome social anxiety. Self-help can reduce social anxiety, and you might find it useful to try this. The following tips may help you. Try to understand more about your anxiety by thinking or writing down what actually goes on in your mind. So this is a good thing. It's not that hard to grab a bit of paper. I did it this morning about something. Grabbed a bit of paper, a pen, scribbled some stuff down, and I folded it up, stuck it in my pocket, and I got it back out. When I got home, stuck it on my board because it's something I want to work on. So do it right now. Get your bit of paper. Write down how it's affecting you. When you start to write things down, you start to see them in a different format. When your mind is just sometimes blurred, and when it's in front of you, you're able to put things together, and it's a bit more like a jigsaw. It does help, trust me, I've done it, and I really would urge you to give it a go. Try some relaxation techniques, such as breathing exercises for stress. I've tried yoga, Pilates, I sometimes listen to self-help, meditation, YouTube's full of them, they're brilliant. Break down challenging situations into smaller parts and work on feeling more relaxed with each part. Try to focus on what people are saying rather than just assuming the worst. I'm brilliant for doing that. I always go to the worst case scenario. Sometimes just take a step back out of the situation, a couple deep breaths, go back in and think about it carefully in a more positive light, because you're only punishing yourself. And I've punished myself so much in some really peculiar, backward thinking way that if I punish myself, I'll learn to be happy and not anxious because I don't want to be punished. Actually, it just makes everything much worse. So that's all I'm going to say for now. As I've said, I'm going to put a few of these together because I need to get a foundation down for people who are coming and asking me questions, so that they can then go to certain parts of my channel and click on the sections that are relevant to them and get some solid teaching from recognised doctors and authorities within the government who really know what they're actually talking about, rather than me just give you my humble opinion, and I'm not a doctor. So I don't know exactly, I'm not qualified to do that. But I can take the doctor's advice, regurgitate it to you, and also interject my own understanding, because I'm trying to help myself and I'm trying to move forward. And I'm going to talk about some of my small successes I've had over the last week, because they have encouraged me. They are very small, very, very small successes. They've encouraged me, but without you guys supporting me and subscribing and me feeling that I'm actually doing something that's helping, must be helping somebody, getting messages, people saying that was good and that helped. And while that's happening, I'm going to keep on pumping this stuff out and being honest and opening up about my problems and putting my money where my mouth is and displaying that I'm vulnerable and I'm certainly far from perfect. But I am certainly also somebody who is able to be fixed a little bit and to enjoy life a little bit more than I've been able to under the oppression of mental health. So let's go forward and let's really try and push ourselves into a better place than we are right now. Thank you very much for listening to me.